Hello, my name is Tim Melcher. Again, this is discussion post number 6, looking at some new resources using a different database than we have previously. I'm focusing on the Aleutian Island campaign, and once again, I found 3 new resources that I thought were valuable in looking at, not only deepening the light of importance on the campaign itself, but also giving us some new perspectives as to why this campaign goes down as a forgotten war in the grand scheme of all of the World War II battles. The first article I examined was by a gentleman named Lansing Laidlaw. It was published in the Oregon Historical Quarterly. Laidlaw at the time was about 47 years old when he enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard during World War II. And he was assigned to the USS Arthur Middleton, which is a transport ship in the United States Navy during World War II. It was named after Arthur Middleton, a member of the Continental Congress during the Revolutionary War, or during the Revolutionary period. Laidlaw and the USS Middleton saw action in the Aleutians in the South and in the South Pacific. But Laidlaw was stationed at Constantine Harbor on the Amchitka Island in the January of 1943. And this resource gives us a first-hand account from December 26, 1942, till May 6, 1943, of his time up in the Aleutian Islands. And his ship was damaged on the coastline during a storm, and while it was dismantled, that time period, Laidlaw gives us entries into his diary that he kept on the ship. The ship was actually stuck in the water, and so the ship was being attacked by Japanese air forces several times they attacked this weakened vessel. Before it was later towed toward Bremerton, Washington, as when the attacks subsided and the weather improved. I thought Lansing's account of his time on the vessel and his experiences gives us firsthand accounts of the severity of the Japanese attacks on the United States, and gives us, so that we don't hear much about, right? This resource also gives pictures of the vessel and the surrounding area and the attacks of the time. Very interesting, the pictures that were included with his writings. This is important because it illustrates how the Aleutian Islands could have been considered part of the forgotten war, as I like to refer to them now. The second article is another article by Galen Paris, who has written several responses to the Canadian efforts during the Aleutian Island campaign. He seems to be a Canadian military history guy, as well as the Canadian partnership with the United States during this time period. This particular article discusses the role played by the Canadian Prime Minister William Lyon Mackenzie King and his decision to send 5,000 Canadian troops to participate in the 1943-led U.S. attack on Kiska, an Aleutian island held by the Japanese during World War II. This attack took back Kiska from the Japanese, and the article illustrates again the example of the Canadians' role in these attacks and their vested interest in protecting the North American mainland from further Japanese attacks. That was a legitimate fear. So Paris does a good job of, capturing the Canadian side of it in comparison to the United States side of it. So that partnership, and I think that's valuable when you look at the grand scheme of the whole thing. The third article I looked at was by Alvin Kahn, who is a professional biologist, but was also stationed in Dutch Harbor in the Aleutian Islands during World War II. And he's gone back to the Aleutians and spent 3.5 years assembling a significant archaeological collection. Now, his collection came primarily from 4 sites on Amiknak Island, where the Dutch Harbor Naval Operating Base was located. He focused primarily on 19 Unalaska Bay sites. So Kahn's collection were sent to the Field Museum of Natural History and the American Museum of Natural History between 1943 and 1945. So Kahn is credited with not only saving so many artifacts from military disturbances on Amiknak Island, but he wasn't a trained archaeologist, but he is very well respected as far as he was able to save all these pieces of evidence from an intense occupation of Amiknak and the adjacent larger islands of Unalaska, which is basically the string of islands. This not only describes the intense occupation on the islands by the Japanese, and as the warfare between the United States forces and Japanese began, and he was able to protect this archaeological evidence, gives us a glimpse into the time and the war itself, which I think is a valuable resource. So you look at different pieces of the puzzle. as we look at these different things. And I thought so. This new website gave me at least a great deal of resources as far as looking at it from different perspectives, firsthand accounts, archaeological evidence. Gave me a lot of different pieces to put together. So very valuable. Hopefully, look forward to hearing your comments. But thank you.